What's up, YouTube? Matt Voke here. This is going to be Blockchain 104, Cryptocurrencies. Crypto smoke. Black markets, fraud, money laundering. Bitcoin's pretty much dead. It's $1 million in Bitcoin. So today we're going to kind of debunk some of that. We'll go over what cryptocurrencies are, what they're not. Hopefully you'll get a little bit of an overview and understanding, at least better than it was before. I'm going to use this CNA report from Zach Gold and Megan McBride. Appreciate you guys giving this a thumbs up for use, just to frame the discussion of where we're going to go today. Overview. Cryptocurrencies are digital currencies that exist in the digital world through cryptography. That's how they're secured. That's how they're able to propagate. And they improve buyer and seller relations in a world where nobody knows anybody else, potentially the internet. This is a potential to be used for criminals, terrorists, and rogue states. And this paper will cover a little bit of that. I'm going to cover that very briefly, but more focusing on what cryptocurrencies are and aren't. Cryptocurrencies are controlled by the distributed, the decentralized system. They are not controlled by centralized banks or governments. And that's what makes them powerful, as well as challenge to some organizations. They're decentralized and distributed on what's known as the blockchain, which go ahead and definitely watch my Blockchain 101 video on blockchain up above. I'll post that. There's also some on DAGs and other technology directed to cyclic graphs, but it's mainly blockchains. They can be extremely volatile in reference to fiat currencies, and we'll talk about what that means in a bit. They can have long transaction times and some expense as well associated with that decentralized nature. And then the thing that poses the most challenge to governments, central authorities, is the pseudonymity, or for some cryptocurrencies, the anonymity of them. And that can be very challenging. Basically, we learned that blockchains are the underlying technology of cryptocurrencies, most. Blockchains are an immutable, decentralized ledger. Immutable, you can't change it. Decentralized means there is no central repository for the information. It's all spread out, so you can't just take one individual or organization out. It's going to persist. Ledger, meaning that it's basically a list of transactions and or balances. Cryptocurrencies were invented to solve the problem of buyers and sellers cheating each other. And again, mainly that's because on the internet, you can't see that person. You don't even know if that is a person. It could be a robot. It could be somebody posing as that person that you think it is. So there's an issue with trust on the internet. There's also an issue with copying of information data and sending. So cryptocurrencies were designed to solve that. And because of that trust, hackers have been able to steal millions and billions, in some cases, of dollars, in equivalent dollars, of cryptocurrencies. And the good thing and the bad thing about cryptocurrencies is once those hackers get that, for the most part, you can't take that back because it is immutable. This is a nascent phenomenon. It's taking many industries, mostly on the internet, by storm. There is a great implication for U.S. and other nations' national security. So here are just a couple considerations the CNA lays out. A safe haven for illicit actors. If you're doing something shady, you want a shady currency and ability to launder that money. Sanctions evasions. If your country or another country is attempting to block the use of money, this potentially could be used to avoid those. And then the speed of the technological change is rapid because this is so nascent and because it is so many people out there in a distributed, decentralized manner working on this. It's changing so fast that regulations and countries can't keep up with it. The interesting thing with this report is that it says that blockchains are a positive, an opportunity because they prevent the squelching of free speech. I see in our Constitution the protection of free speech as an individual right and a protection from the government. I have the ability to, for all intents and purposes, say the government is effing things up and should change, and I'm protected because of free speech. It's interesting that they see that as a positive for national security, but it does have some implications there. But it also obviously could run counter to that. And then good governance, not just cryptocurrencies, but also blockchain. So cryptocurrencies obviously have the ability to incentivize good governance, but also the blockchain has huge incentives that could be applied to things such as voting, for instance, and preventing voter fraud. So that's what we're going to talk about in this real quick Blockchain 104 on cryptocurrencies. What are they? What are cryptocurrencies? Currencies, in order to understand what they are, we're going to need to understand what conventional or fiat currencies are. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check out my video on Bitcoin. I do a really good coverage of the history of money, the history of currency. That is absolutely worth checking out. But basically, cryptocurrencies exist as money or currency, counter to, and they were invented to counter the policies of conventional money or fiat money, which basically isn't backed by anything. It's just backed essentially by the government saying that it's good. The misconception a lot of times is that people think that you can take $1 to the government and get that gold out of Fort Knox. That's a delusion. That hasn't been possible since 1971, and arguably since before that. So that that is what fiat currencies are, and that'll get us to what cryptocurrencies are. Cryptocurrencies were invented to prevent or to eliminate those third-party middlemen or authority figures from telling individuals or organizations what they can or can't do with their money. It was invented primarily for privacy on the internet. The cypherpunk mailing list is where Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008 sent the paper out, and then got a group of individuals in 2009 behind his currency. It is electronic money on the internet. Double spending is a problem on the internet. So Bitcoin was one of the first, and there's other ways of doing this, but to come up with novel solutions to the double spend problem, I don't want to get too much into there, but just know that that is why cryptocurrencies recently are so successful. And then it transfers the trust from a third-party intermediary, middleman, escrow, whatever, to code, to logic, to mathematics, to cryptography. That's the overview of what cryptocurrencies are. That didn't even scratch the surface or this paper. We're only 18 pages in. Definitely click on the next video where we'll cover what it is technologically as well as economically. Both of those are extremely important for what Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you.